Night over the Baltic. A thin layer of fog drifts across the coastline near Braniewo, Poland. At 02:47 local time, satellites detect a formation moving north from the German border. 25 MQ-9 Reaper drones, flying low, silent, coordinated. No announcement, no warning, just a trace of metallic light gliding through the darkness. Inside NATO's Air Operations Center in Ramstein, a single line flashes on the display. Reaper Group 7 active. Operators exchange silent glances. This wasn't part of any published exercise. Within seconds, radar feeds from Lithuania, Poland, and Denmark synchronize on one encrypted channel. The data forms a lattice of blinking dots, each tagged with a code never used before. Every dot moves with identical precision. 25 aircraft, 1 intent. Far to the east, Kaliningrad's early warning systems react. A burst of signals floods command nodes around Gvardesk. Russian radars capture something. Faint reflections, irregular pulses, moving faster than any known pattern. Controllers attempt identification. Nothing matches. The network cycles through known NATO drones, Global Hawk, RQ-170, Triton, none align. The screens freeze, then distort. For 5 seconds, the entire grid flickers. Then, the contacts vanish. Across the Polish border, mobile command units deploy in near silence. Reapers form a loose orbit 30 kilometers from Russian airspace. Infrared sensors sweep the horizon. Each drone streams encrypted telemetry to an airborne relay over the Baltic. From there, signals jump through geosynchronous satellites into analysis servers in Virginia. No voice traffic, only data, compressed and continuous. At 03:11, footage begins circulating across internal NATO networks. Thermal images show movements no one was prepared for. Faint heat signatures emerging from the Kaliningrad coast, then fading. Analysts hesitate to label them. Could be radar decoys, could be vehicle convoys. Whatever they are, they move in formation. Patterned. Deliberate. In Moscow's western military district, alert levels rise without a single order being issued. Every sensor in the region recalibrates. Operators manually sweep sectors, searching for targets that appear and vanish in the same instant. Radio intercepts capture bursts of encrypted NATO traffic, but frequencies shift too fast to trace. It's as if the air itself is being rewritten. From space, reconnaissance satellites observe faint trails over northern Poland, contrails barely visible under infrared. Military experts call it an unprecedented incident. Never before have so many MQ-9 units flown simultaneously this close to Russian territory. Each drone is autonomous, but linked through a new coordination algorithm, swarm behavior controlled by distributed AI nodes. No central pilot, no single point of command. The mission profile remains classified, but intelligence suggests the Reapers aren't gathering imagery this time. Their payload bays are sealed, replaced with modular electronic arrays. What they transmit isn't visual data. It's spectral. Every radio pulse, radar ping, and electromagnetic echo across Kaliningrad's defense belt is being recorded, mapped, and modeled in real time. At 03:26, Russian radar operators notice a strange phenomenon. Readings from the east sector display phantom signals, dozens of echoes moving in perfect symmetry, then collapsing into one. The system reports an anomalous reflection cluster. Moments later, one of the operators sees it, a pale glimmer at the edge of the radar screen, like static frozen in place. Then, nothing. Silence. By dawn, the swarm crosses back into Polish airspace. No interceptions, no warnings issued. But for 60 minutes, Russian sensors picked up something unknown in the sky. And whatever it was, it didn't behave like any reconnaissance flight before. Every movement felt calculated, every disappearance deliberate. The air defense grid logs the incident as transient electromagnetic event. In NATO reports, it carries a different name: Operation White Veil. Tension at the border is rising by the minute. What the Reapers actually did is now sparking global debate. The footage exists, encrypted, time-stamped, verified, but only a handful of analysts have clearance to view it. And somewhere deep beneath the Polish countryside, a secure server hums quietly, holding the data that could redefine how invisible warfare begins. Under gray Baltic clouds, the first briefings begin. Screens flicker in NATO command rooms from Brussels to Stuttgart. Maps, flight paths, telemetry, all layered in silent synchrony. Every pulse, every signal from the Reaper swarm is reconstructed, frame by frame. No sound, only the hum of processors and the faint rhythm of shifting data. The swarm's path near Kaliningrad looks deliberate, geometric, and mathematically precise. Triangular grid, constant altitude, equal spacing. An operation designed not for observation, but for mapping the invisible. In Washington, a small operations team watches from a secure facility. Encrypted feeds run through hardened fiber lines, relayed from Poland via Norway. On one wall, a digital clock counts backward from 60 minutes, the total flight time of Operation White Veil. Analysts note spikes in the electromagnetic spectrum over Russia's western perimeter. Every radar pulse reflected, absorbed, then re-emitted at fractional delays. What the Reapers created wasn't surveillance. It was interference, a silent test of control over the electronic environment. In Kaliningrad, the aftermath unfolds slowly. Air defense units remain on alert. Signal officers scrub through hours of distorted recordings, searching for a pattern. The log files show multiple false locks, radar sweeps rebounding against invisible targets. Some operators claim to have seen faint visual glimmers, white arcs tracing the horizon. Cameras caught nothing, only static. The command center reports partial system degradation in 3 sectors. Cause: undetermined. Duration: 58 minutes. By midday, Moscow receives the compiled incident summary. Inside the Ministry of Defense, a secure meeting begins under heavy silence. No one speaks until the final slide fades. 25 aircraft. 0 intrusions. One complete blackout of Kaliningrad's electromagnetic field for nearly an hour. For military planners, the conclusion is unavoidable. Someone has just tested the outer wall of their defense grid and passed through it undetected. Across Europe, headlines ripple. Unprecedented drone operation near Russian airspace. Electronic mirage over the Baltic. Commentators debate whether it was provocation, experiment, or both. Officials issue careful statements: training, coordination, data testing. But none explain why 25 MQ-9 Reapers operated in full synchronization, nor why Russia's radar systems froze during the event. In military circles, whispers spread about an algorithm, a new control suite codenamed Orbital Link. It allows drones to share environmental data in real time, creating what engineers call a collective intelligence lattice. If confirmed, it would mean a single swarm could rewrite the electromagnetic landscape of an entire region. In Poland, maintenance crews recover the drones at an undisclosed airfield near Poznan. Each unit arrives intact, engines cool, sensor pods glowing faintly with residual charge. Technicians record minor anomalies, data buffers overloaded, unknown packets in encrypted memory. No one knows what triggered them. For now, The files are sealed and flown to Ramstein under escort. The Russian response unfolds in calculated increments. New patrol routes established. Electronic warfare units mobilized across the western frontier. MiG-31 interceptors perform wide arcs over the Baltic, searching for signatures that no longer exist. Satellite arrays above Smolensk redirect toward Poland, mapping electromagnetic reflections in the upper atmosphere. Still, the sky remains quiet. Too quiet. Within NATO, classified memos circulate. Commanders urge restraint. No public comments, no confirmation of objectives. But the data speaks on its own. Power fluctuations across Kaliningrad. Interrupted communications. An entire defense network silenced without a single missile fired. Analysts begin drafting new frameworks. Swarm doctrine, electronic dominance, distributed control. Each paragraph carries the same subtext. Deterrence is changing form. By evening, Moscow issues an official statement. Unidentified aerial activity observed near state borders. No violations recorded. Systems functioning nominally. The tone is calm, procedural, almost dismissive. But inside encrypted chat rooms used by military engineers, another story circulates. Screenshots of radar anomalies. Timestamps matching the Reaper swarm's flight window. A blurred image shows what looks like a mesh of light suspended above the Baltic. No one can confirm it. No one can explain it. As night returns, Kaliningrad's skies remain empty, yet filled with tension. Operators double-check frequency bands, scanning for echoes of the pattern that once appeared and vanished. Nothing. Only the low hiss of atmospheric noise. For NATO analysts, the silence means success. For Russia's command, it means uncertainty, the most dangerous variable of all. And somewhere, buried deep in the data, a new pattern emerges. Faint, recursive, repeating every 7 seconds. A code hidden in the swarm's telemetry. No signature, no source. Just a single phrase embedded across multiple data packets. Phase 2. Ready. Morning over the Baltic feels different now. The fog that once hid the Reapers has lifted, leaving a sky washed clean and silent. In command centers across Europe, the data from Operation White Veil finishes processing. Every byte reviewed, every frequency mapped, every echo traced. For the first time, military planners can see what happened in its full scope. The swarm wasn't built to provoke or intimidate. It was a demonstration of how networked intelligence can replace risk with precision. What began as a single synchronized flight has become the foundation of a new doctrine. No pilots lost, no borders violated. Yet an entire defense grid was neutralized, not through attack, but through understanding the environment better than the adversary. This is the quiet shift of modern warfare. Knowledge over destruction, presence over force. Analysts in Virginia published the first technical breakdown. Each MQ-9 Reaper carried an adaptive processor capable of learning from atmospheric feedback in real time. Instead of fighting interference, the drones absorbed it, used it, and turned it into a map of invisible corridors in the sky. That same principle, engineers say, will define the next generation of defense systems, civilian and military alike. Precision isn't about firepower, it's about information discipline. From that lesson emerges a broader strategy, one that extends beyond the battlefield. Every network, every organization, every individual system depends on 3 simple strengths: stability, adaptability, and calibration. To maintain them means constant adjustment, tuning signals, refining inputs, keeping systems balanced. Whether managing a fleet of drones or maintaining personal health, the logic is the same. Observe, measure, correct, and sustain. When debriefings conclude, technicians turn to the practical work of reconstruction. Fuel cells drained during the mission are recalibrated for efficiency trials. Cooling systems redesigned to minimize waste heat signatures. These technical refinements mirror the larger principle that defines endurance: conservation, renewal, and balance. Engineers call it sustainable operation. Doctors and trainers would call it recovery. The same pattern applies in daily life. After prolonged stress or exertion, systems, mechanical or human, need structured restoration. Proper nutrition, measured hydration, and consistent routine form the triad of resilience. The recommended intake plan now being tested for long-duration drone crews includes high-density energy sources balanced with slow-release proteins and trace minerals. Civilians can adapt that formula simply. Combine complex carbohydrates for endurance, lean proteins for repair, and natural electrolytes for stability. In practice, that means grains, legumes, fruits, and water in steady intervals. Nothing extreme, just consistency. Alongside fuel comes movement. Operators are now required to perform controlled physical drills every 4 hours during long missions. Short stretches, breathing sequences, calibrated posture. Outside the bunker, these same principles translate into ordinary exercises. Slow pacing, deep inhalation, deliberate resets. Each small action restores balance in the way a drone recalibrates its gyroscope mid-flight. The deeper lesson of the Reaper operation is not about machines, but about systems thinking. A network that learns from its environment, adapts instead of breaking. A person who treats their own body as a system, adjusting inputs, managing stress, prioritizing rest, becomes resilient in the same way. That is the quiet parallel between technology and health. Endurance built on awareness. In final analysis, Operation White Veil achieves what few missions ever do. It ends without a winner or a loser. No damage recorded, yet perspectives shifted. NATO confirms the success of autonomous coordination. Russia strengthens its detection protocols. Each side adapts. Each learns. The result is equilibrium, not escalation. For those reading the final report, the conclusion is clear. Innovation without stability leads to collapse. Discipline without adaptation leads to stagnation. The future demands both. Whether piloting a drone network or navigating daily life, survival depends on the same quiet science. Maintain the balance, conserve the core, and move with precision. As dusk falls again over the Baltic, the sky is empty, calm, and perfectly aligned. No signals, no noise, only the faint rhythm of restored order. The lesson lingers in the silence. True strength isn't in flight or force, but in control, recovery, and the steady endurance that follows.